Welcome to the Stellar Sleep Tales, dear dreamer, to another journey. Tonight, we will drift together into one of the greatest mysteries our world holds, the deep ocean. This tale is not a tale of rush or urgency, but of calm discovery, a slow descent into a realm where silence rules and secrets sleep in the dark. As you listen, let each word soften your mind. Let each image paint a quiet picture across your imagination, and allow yourself to relax. This is a story meant not only to spark wonder, but also to guide you gently into rest. The ocean has always been more than just water. It is a living symbol of vastness, a mirror of infinity. From the surface, it looks calm, glittering beneath the light of the moon and the warmth of the sun. To stand upon the shore and gaze across the horizon is to meet something endless, something that stretches far beyond sight and perhaps even beyond thought. But what lies beneath that shimmering surface is another world entirely, a hidden earth, layered with mysteries more ancient than mountains, more silent than the stars. Think for a moment of how the ocean greets us. At its edge, waves lap gently at the sand, carrying foam and whispers. It feels familiar, safe, and close. Children play at its borders, ships ride upon its skin, and travelers find comfort in its steady rhythm. Yet the surface is just a mask. Just as our dreams run deeper than our waking thoughts, so too does the ocean hold more than what we can see. Beneath its calm face lies a depth so vast that most of it has never been touched by human eyes. Scientists tell us that more than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. Imagine that for a moment. On a planet mapped by satellites and scanned by machines, the ocean keeps its secrets veiled in darkness. What lies down there? Creatures glowing like stars in midnight waters, landscapes carved in silence, mountains taller than Everest hidden beneath the waves. Perhaps entire worlds we cannot yet imagine wait quietly below. The ocean is not only vast in distance, it is vast in time. It has been here long before us, shaping climates, guiding life, breathing clouds into the sky. It is both the oldest cradle and the endless frontier. Civilizations have lived and vanished while the ocean has continued its steady pulse, unchanged and eternal. And as we sit together now, listening in this moment, that same pulse moves through the tides. Let us turn inward. Close your eyes if you wish. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a calm sea at night. The stars shimmer above, their light reflected on the quiet water. A gentle breeze carries the scent of salt, and each wave that arrives at your feet feels like a soft greeting. You step forward, slowly, letting the water surround you. It is cool but comforting. With each step, you release the weight of the day, letting go of thoughts, of worries, of noise. The ocean accepts them, carrying them away, leaving only calm. Now imagine drifting, floating gently as if gravity itself is resting. The surface light shimmers above you like a distant sky, but you are in no hurry to return to it. You allow yourself to sink, softly, peacefully, as though the water itself is cradling you, lowering you into its embrace. Around you, the world grows quieter. Colors soften, sounds fade. You feel the stillness deepening, as if the ocean is drawing you into a secret.
This is where our journey begins, not with fear, not with urgency, but with surrender. For the ocean does not rush, and neither will we. Tonight, we will descend together, exploring not only the wonders of the deep sea, but also the calmness that lives within silence itself. We will walk alongside creatures that glow in the dark, glide past mountains hidden beneath waves, and listen to the quiet heartbeat of a world that most will never see. And yet, as mysterious as it is, the ocean reflects something within us. Just as its surface hides depth, so too do we hold layers unseen, feelings unspoken, dreams yet unexplored. Perhaps by traveling down into its abyss, we are also traveling inward toward a quiet place of rest and renewal. So, let us begin. Take one more breath, long and gentle, as though you are breathing with the tide. Let it carry you inward, downward, deeper still. The world above can wait, and the world below is calling. And so begins our descent.
Our journey begins at the surface, where the ocean greets us with familiarity and light. The sun rests upon the water like a golden hand, scattering diamonds across each wave. The surface is alive with motion, yet calm enough to lull the heart into stillness. Here, the air and water meet in an endless embrace, two worlds touching but never fully blending. Drifting at the top of the sea feels safe. The warmth of sunlight glimmers all around, and the rhythms of waves are like a gentle lullaby. The horizon stretches wide, a circle without end, as though you were floating at the very center of infinity. This first step, or rather, this first drop, is where life gathers in abundance. Scientists call this uppermost region the sunlight zone. It extends down for about 200 meters, though in truth, that number feels less like a boundary and more like a soft gradient, a fading memory of light. Here, the ocean is still touched by the sun, and with his touch comes energy, warmth, and the thriving of countless lives. Close your eyes and picture this radiant kingdom. Coral reefs rise like underwater cities, sculpted not by human hands, but by nature's slow patience. Each reef is alive, a fortress of color, where parrotfish nibble at stones, clownfish dance within the arms of anemones, and darting schools of silver fish flash like liquid mirrors. Every movement is graceful, every creature a small note in the greater song of life. Sea turtles glide lazily, their flippers moving with the calm rhythm of sleep. Dolphins leap and circle, playful even beneath the waves, their presence a reminder of joy that transcends species. Shoals of sardines shimmer as one, bending and twisting like a ribbon of quicksilver. Even the gentle giants, the great whales, sometimes rise here, close to the surface, where their breath becomes visible clouds against the sky, before they sink once more into the blue. The sunlight zone is the ocean's most welcoming face. It is familiar, even friendly. For thousands of years, humans have lived near its edges, fishing, sailing, diving, and finding comfort in its brightness. Ancient myths and modern science alike were born from what we could see here at the topmost layer of the sea. But every step downward is also a step away from this warmth. Every meter deeper is a soft farewell to the familiar world above. Imagine yourself slowly drifting lower. At first, the water around you still shimmers with gold. Sunbeams pierce the surface, stretching down in long beams like cathedral windows. These shafts of light ripple and dance, bending as if the ocean itself were breathing them in. You are surrounded by blues of every shade, turquoise near the surface, sapphire further down, cobalt as you sink deeper still. But notice, too,
how the colors begin to fade. The reds vanish first, swallowed by the water. Yellows weaken, greens grow dim. By the time you descend to the edge of the sunlight zone, nearly all colors but blue have dissolved into memory. What was once a rainbow is now a single endless hue. The sounds shift as well. Near the surface, you could still hear the crackle of shrimp, the chatter of dolphins, even the distant hum of ships. But as you sink, those sounds grow muffled, softened as though wrapped in layers of velvet. The deeper you go, the quieter the world becomes. The ocean does not silence all noise, but it transforms it, stretching each sound until it feels like an echo from another time. The deeper you drift, the more you sense the change within yourself. The surface is a place of activity, of brightness, of life in motion. But as you leave it behind, a calm stillness begins to take hold. Thoughts slow, as if matching the rhythm of the deep. The pulse of your heart feels softer, steadier, as though the water itself has set the pace. The first 200 meters, the sunlight zone, are more than just a biological boundary. They are a threshold. Above lies the world we know, full of color and sound. Below lies something different, a realm where the sun no longer rules, where the earth begins to reveal its hidden face. Crossing this line is like moving from day into evening, from wakefulness into dream. As you continue downward, pause for a moment in this liminal place. Look upward. The surface still glimmers faintly above you, though it is already distant, already fragile. Rays of light still reach towards you, but their strength is fading. Soon, they will vanish altogether. Now look downward. The blue grows darker, richer, more mysterious. Shapes become shadows, outlines blur. It is as though you're gazing not into water, but into time itself, a descent into a story written long before humans ever came to stand on shores. This is the first drop, the moment of leaving behind the familiar and accepting the unknown. The journey has only just begun, and already the world feels transformed. The ocean is whispering, guiding you gently, urging you deeper. Take another breath. Let it be slow, steady, and calming, as though you are breathing with the rhythm of the waves. Feel yourself drifting further down, into twilight, where the last fingers of sunlight are reaching their end. But the day is passing, and the eternal night of the ocean is waiting to embrace us. And so, we continue our descent.
We drift now into deeper waters, leaving behind the bright, living realm of the sunlight zone. Above us, the surface is already fading into memory. The shimmering beams that once danced like golden ribbons now appear faint, scattered, and fragile. They do not vanish all at once. Instead, they thin out slowly, like candle flames burning down to their final glow. This region, between 200 and 1,000 meters deep, is known as the mesopelagic zone, but to most, it is simply called the twilight zone. The name itself is like a poem, carrying with it a sense of mystery, of beauty balanced with uncertainty. Here, the sun still whispers, but its voice grows weak. Light filters down only in shades of blue, dim and haunting. Reds are long gone. Greens and yellows are faint ghosts. Even the vibrant colors of coral reefs have dissolved into a muted silence. Imagine yourself suspended here. The world around you is a vast cathedral of shadow. Above, faint rays still reach downward, like the last threads of a dream. Below, only darkness awaits. You are floating at the threshold, neither in full light nor in complete darkness. This is a place of in-between, where boundaries blur, where day slips gently into night. Life here is different. To survive in the twilight, creatures have grown large, searching eyes, sensitive to the faintest flicker. Their bodies move slowly, conserving precious energy, for food is scarcer in this place. The sunlight zone above was a banquet, bursting with life. The twilight zone, however, is quieter, thinner, yet filled with wonders that feel otherworldly. Picture the lanternfish, a small silvery traveler that drifts through these waters in vast numbers, rising at night toward the surface to feed, then returning to the shadows by day. Some say that lanternfish migrations are among the greatest movements of life on our planet, though most of us will never see them. Their eyes gleam with an ancient patience, and their bodies shimmer faintly in the dark. The hatchetfish, with its slender silver body, angles its sides to reflect the little light left, making itself almost invisible against the dim blue above. It is a quiet ghost in the water, gliding with soft precision. Others glow with their own light. This is where we first meet the magic of bioluminescence, the ability of life to create light from within. In the still waters of the twilight zone, sparks of green, blue, and soft white appear like drifting stars. Some creatures use their glow to lure prey, others to communicate, and many to disappear by matching the faint glow of the surface above, hiding their shadows from predators below. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it, a vast, dark ocean, silent and endless, lit not by the sun, but by living stars. The water becomes a night sky turned upside down, with galaxies of jellyfish, shrimp, and squid pulsing gently in radiant rhythm. Every flicker is both survival and art, a dance of light in eternal shadow. The twilight zone is also a place of quiet hunters. The bristlemouth fish, small but abundant, drifts here in numbers so vast that it may be the most numerous vertebrate on Earth. It does not look extraordinary, yet its sheer presence makes it a hidden ruler of this realm. And then there are the predators. Slow, patient, adapted to darkness. Some have jaws that unhinge, capable of swallowing prey almost as large as themselves. Others possess long, ribbon-like bodies that seem more like dream shapes than living beings. But remember, even here, in what might sound strange or even eerie, the ocean holds no malice. These creatures are simply part of the balance, moving in silence, living out their ancient roles. As you drift deeper, notice how the silence deepens too. At the surface, waves whispered and dolphins called. Even in the sunlight zone, reefs crackled with sound. But here in the twilight, the noise is softened to almost nothing. Only the occasional groan of shifting currents, or the distant song of a whale traveling between worlds, might reach you. Everything else is quiet, as though time itself has slowed. This slowness begins to enter you as well. Your thoughts grow gentle. The rush of the day feels like a distant thing, far above, unreachable. In the twilight zone, there is no urgency. There is only drifting, only waiting, only the calm embrace of shadows. Scientists sometimes call this region the ocean's lungs,
For here, enormous amounts of carbon are captured and cycled. In silence, the twilight zone plays its role in shaping the climate of our entire planet. It reminds us that even hidden realms, unseen by most, have power over the world above. And so the twilight zone is not empty. It is not barren. It is a liminal kingdom, a place where survival is painted in light and shadow, where each creature is both fragile and strong, both vulnerable and eternal. It is magical, yes, but also humbling, for it teaches us that wonder is not only in brightness, it lives in the spaces where light fades too. As we hover here, let yourself feel what it means to be in between, not in the full warmth of day, nor the complete rest of night. Instead, floating in transition, like the moments just before sleep, when waking thoughts dissolve, but dreams have not yet arrived. This is the twilight within us, mirrored in the twilight of the sea. Look once more upward. The surface glows faintly, but its warmth no longer reaches you. Look downward. Darkness gathers, deeper and thicker with every meter. Between them, you float, suspended in mystery. Take a long, slow breath. Feel it settle you, anchor you gently in this drifting place. The twilight is not to be feared. It is to be felt, to be trusted, to be allowed. For only by passing through it can we reach the secrets hidden below. And so, as the last glimmers of sunlight fade, we prepare to move onward into the midnight zone, where the eternal darkness begins. We now leave the twilight behind. The faint glow of sun has surrendered. The last beams have dissolved into silence, and around us spreads a vast kingdom of night. Between 1,000 and 4,000 meters deep, we enter what scientists call the bathypelagic zone, but to us it is simply the midnight zone, a realm of pure darkness where sunlight has never lived. Here, day and night mean nothing. No clock exists. No dawn ever breaks. No dusk ever falls. Time itself feels slower, stretched like the silence that fills the water. And yet this darkness is not empty. It is alive. It is filled with creatures so strange and beautiful that they feel like visitors from another world. Imagine yourself suspended here, drifting quietly. The water is thick with pressure, thousands of times greater than at the surface, and yet you feel no weight. Around you there is no color, no shimmer, only blackness so complete it feels infinite. At first, it seems as though you are alone, but then, slowly, you begin to see faint glimmers, tiny sparks like stars scattered in the water. These are the lights of life. This zone is a theater of bioluminescence. Creatures glow in soft blues, greens, and ghostly whites. Some carry lanterns beneath their eyes. Others trail luminous threads. A few even create pulses of light, like gentle beacons in the dark. To drift here is to float among constellations, except these stars breathe, move, and dream. One of the most iconic beings of this world is the anglerfish. Picture it now. A round body, a wide mouth filled with delicate needle-like teeth,
and from its forehead a thin filament that dangles a glowing lure. To many, the anglerfish seems fearsome, but here in the midnight zone, it is not a monster. It is simply another traveler, surviving in silence. Its light is both invitation and shield, a beacon that draws small creatures closer until the anglerfish, with patient grace, opens its mouth. It does not chase. It does not rush. It waits. In this realm, patience is the way of life. Nearby drifts the gulper eel, with a mouth that can open impossibly wide, far larger than its slender body seems to allow. Its form bends and ripples, ribbon-like, as though it were more dream than flesh. When it opens its jaws, it becomes a floating shadow, capable of swallowing prey almost its own size. Yet it too is not a terror, but an artist of survival, a quiet wanderer gliding through black water. And then the mysterious vampire squid, with its delicate cloak-like arms. Despite its name, it is no predator of horror. It does not drink blood. Instead, it floats gently, feeding on drifting detritus, flakes of organic matter, the marine snow that falls endlessly from the world above. Its skin shimmers dark and soft, and when it feels threatened, it turns itself inside out, flashing light from its body in a gentle display. It is fragile, but it endures, moving slowly through the night. Every creature here has adapted to silence and scarcity. With no sunlight to feed plants, food drifts down from above in small particles, the remains of life from higher waters. Many here are scavengers, patient collectors of the ocean's offerings. Others conserve energy by moving rarely, gliding more than swimming. Their forms may look strange to us, but each one is a masterpiece, shaped by millions of years to belong perfectly to this world. Take a moment to imagine this scene, darkness pressing all around, yet softened by scattered lights. Creatures drifting slowly, their bodies glowing like lanterns in a quiet procession. No rush, no chaos, only balance. Even the predators here are not hunters in frenzy, but guardians of stillness, waiting, conserving, existing. Notice how this calm begins to enter you as well. The midnight zone is not frightening when you allow yourself to float within it. It is peaceful. It is a reminder that life can take infinite forms, and that survival itself is beautiful. Though these beings sound strange, in their own way, they are peaceful companions in the night. Whales sometimes pass through this zone, their songs traveling across oceans. Imagine hearing it now, a low, resonant call, echoing through darkness like a hymn. That sound might be the only reminder of a distant world above. For the rest, silence reigns, soft and endless. Even here, mountains rise. In the midnight zone lie seamounts and ridges, towering structures hidden beneath the sea. Creatures gather near their slopes, taking advantage of currents that sweep nutrients into hidden valleys. These underwater landscapes are invisible to us on land, yet they are as grand as any mountain range we know. And then there are the wanderers we cannot yet name. Scientists have glimpsed strange jellyfish, translucent like glass, glowing in silent pulses. They have recorded shapes that drift like ribbons hundreds of meters long. They have heard sounds with no known source. The midnight zone still keeps its secrets, holding them softly in its black embrace. As you drift further, let your mind imagine the scale. Above, nearly a kilometer of water separates you from the surface. Below, more darkness stretches on, kilometers still deeper. And in all that space, life glows, waits, and moves with unhurried grace. The midnight zone is a reminder that darkness is not absence. It is not emptiness. It is another kind of presence, quiet, patient, filled with wonders that shine only when the sun has left. Just as our dreams come alive in sleep, so too does the ocean awaken in its eternal night. Take a deep, slow breath now. Let it feel like you are breathing with this darkness, steady, calm, timeless. Let each inhale carry stillness, and each exhale release what is heavy. Here, nothing is urgent. Here, everything moves at the pace of eternity. We remain in this silence a little longer, drifting among companions who glow in the night. Anglerfish with their lanterns, eels with their wide mouths, squid with their cloaks of light, each one a quiet story of survival. And though they may appear strange, remember they are not here to frighten us. They are here to remind us that life finds a way even in the darkest places. Now, as we prepare to drift deeper still, let us look around once more. Upward, nothing but fading memory. Downward, more darkness, heavier, deeper. And all around, the living night, glowing with fragile stars. This is the midnight zone, eternal darkness, filled with peaceful lights. And soon we will journey even deeper to the vast plains of the abyss.
We drift downward once more, leaving behind the glowing lights of the midnight zone. The water grows colder, the weight of the ocean above us pressing heavier with every meter. At last, we reach a place so quiet, so still, it feels as though time itself has fallen asleep. Welcome to the abyssal plains. Here, between 4,000 and 6,000 meters beneath the surface, stretches a world so vast it defies imagination. These plains cover more than half of our planet's surface, making them one of the largest habitats on Earth, yet they remain among the least explored. Imagine an endless seafloor, flat and featureless, stretching farther than the eye can see in every direction. No mountains, no forests, no coral gardens. Only a dark, silent expanse that has not felt sunlight for millions of years. The pressure here is immense, thousands of times greater than at the surface. The water is near freezing, just above 0 degrees Celsius. There is no sound but the faint whispers of currents, no movement but the slow drift of marine snow. Those tiny flakes of organic matter falling endlessly from the zones above. And yet, even here, in what seems like a lifeless desert, life endures. Think of a desert on land. At first glance, it seems barren, empty, silent. But look closer, and you find hardy plants, quiet animals, small traces of survival hidden in the sand. The abyssal plains are the ocean's desert, still, sparse,
but not empty. Every creature that survives here has been shaped by extraordinary adaptations. The floor itself is soft, covered in a fine layer of sediment. Much of this sediment has been slowly falling for millions of years, the powdered remains of shells, skeletons, and tiny organisms drifting down from the surface. If you were to lie down here, gently, weightless in the silence, you would be resting on a bed of history, a soft seafloor made from the memory of life above. Imagine that, lying on the ocean floor, untouched by light since before humankind was born. Among the plainest features are sea cucumbers, slow-moving, soft-bodied creatures that crawl across the mud, feeding on the particles of organic snow. They look unassuming, yet they are vital recyclers, turning decay into life. In some places, they are so abundant that they form living carpets on the seafloor, quietly processing the ocean's leftovers. Nearby, you may notice brittle stars, their long arms stretched delicately across the sediment, waiting to capture any drifting morsel. Their bodies are fragile, but their patience infinite. Some form clusters, their arms weaving gently together like a net. And then the eerie, ghostly fish, thin, pale forms that swim slowly, conserving energy in this land of scarcity. Some have no eyes, for what use are eyes in eternal night? Others carry faint bioluminescence, tiny lanterns to recognize one another in the void. Crabs and amphipods scuttle quietly, breaking down what falls from above. Some species have been discovered thousands of meters deep, living in complete darkness, their bodies small but resilient. Perhaps the most haunting sight of all are the skeletons of great whales. When a whale dies and sinks to the abyssal plain, its body becomes an oasis of life. For decades, even centuries, that single fallen giant can support entire ecosystems. Worms, snails, crabs, bacteria, all thriving in a place where otherwise there is almost nothing. These whale falls are like temporary islands in a desert sea, reminders that even death here creates life. Let us pause and feel the silence of this place. Imagine drifting just above the seafloor. No current pushes you, no sound interrupts you. The only movement is the slow falling of snow, tiny white particles descending endlessly like ash from some ancient fire. The abyssal plain feels timeless, eternal, unchanged across millions of years. There are no storms here, no seasons, no dawn or dusk. The abyssal plains are constant, patient, waiting. A place where life takes its time, where change comes slowly. And yet, beneath this calm surface lies mystery. Scientists have discovered tracks pressed into the sediment, long trails left by creatures too large to have been seen. What made them? Perhaps giant jellyfish dragging their bells across the mud. Perhaps some unknown animal wandering in the dark. We do not yet know. The abyss still guards its secrets. As we drift further, we notice the seafloor is not entirely flat. Here and there, seamounts rise, underwater hills and ridges that break the plain. Around these structures, life gathers. Corals, sponges, and fish, all clinging to the rare terrain that interrupts the emptiness. These isolated mountains are like hidden sanctuaries in the desert, pockets of life glowing quietly in the void. Even more mysterious are the hydrothermal seeps, places where chemicals seep slowly from the seafloor, supporting bacteria that feed without sunlight. Entire communities of worms, clams, and shrimp depend on this invisible chemistry, proof that life can flourish even where sunlight has never existed. Take a slow breath now. Imagine yourself lying on the abyssal plain, your body weightless, your mind calm. Above you stretch kilometers of water. Around you, silence. The pressure is immense, yet here, in your drifting state, it feels like an embrace, a gentle weight pressing you into stillness. The desert of the abyss is not frightening, it is peaceful. Its emptiness is a reminder of how vast the world truly is, how much space exists in silence. Here, nothing hurries. Here, everything waits. Perhaps this is why the abyss feels almost like a dream. Floating above the plain, you realize that survival is not about abundance, but about balance. Every creature here takes only what it needs, moving only when it must. There is beauty in that simplicity, a lesson whispered through the dark water. As your mind drifts, imagine the slow passage of time here. A grain of sediment falling, taking centuries to settle. A whale skeleton feeding life for generations. A crab scuttling across the seafloor, its path leaving marks that last for decades. The abyss moves not at the speed of days, but at the pace of centuries. And so, as we lie upon this ancient floor, we too surrender to stillness. The silence becomes a lullaby. The pressure becomes a blanket. The emptiness becomes a dream. This is the abyssal plain, the sleeping desert of the deep, endless and eternal, calm and unbroken. And soon deeper still, we will journey into the Hadal trenches, where the earth itself folds inward, and life persists at the very edge of possibility.
We leave the wide, endless calm of the abyssal plains and drift now into places where the earth itself bends and breaks. These are the deepest cracks on our planet, the ocean trenches. Unlike the flat plains that stretch for thousands of kilometers, trenches cut like scars into the seafloor. They are narrow, steep-sided canyons, formed where tectonic plates collide and one slips beneath another. Each trench is a reminder that our planet is alive, constantly shifting, reshaping, folding in upon itself. Among them, none is more famous than the Mariana Trench in the western Pacific Ocean. Nearly 11 kilometers deep, it is the deepest known place on Earth. To place that in perspective, if Mount Everest were placed into the trench, its peak would still lie more than 2 kilometers below the surface of the sea. The deepest point of all, the Challenger Deep, lies within the Mariana Trench, a place so remote, so unreachable, that for much of human history it was beyond imagination. Here, the pressure is more than 1,000 times the pressure we feel at the surface. It is so immense that any ordinary object would be crushed instantly. And yet, this place exists quietly, patiently, holding its secrets in perfect stillness. Other trenches, like the Tonga Trench, the Philippine Trench, and the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, carve the ocean floor as well, each a silent reminder of the restless earth. Together, they form a hidden geography more dramatic than any mountain range or desert above. Imagine drifting down the steep wall of the Mariana Trench. Darkness has long since become absolute. The water is near freezing. The silence is total, broken only by your slow, calm breath. The walls rise like cliffs on either side, disappearing into shadow.
Beneath you, the floor of the trench sinks deeper and deeper, a journey into the very heart of the Earth's mysteries. And yet, even here, life persists. Tiny amphipods, ghostly snailfish, and bacteria adapted to crushing pressure drift and crawl in this alien world. They live in conditions we would call impossible, yet for them it is home. Their existence is proof that life is not fragile. It is endlessly adaptable, endlessly surprising. For most of history, these depths were only dreamed of. But in 1960, a small vessel changed that dream into reality. The Trieste, a bathyscaphe piloted by Jacques Picard and Don Walsh, descended into the Challenger Deep. The journey took nearly 5 hours. Imagine the slow descent, the light fading, the pressure building, the silence deepening with every passing minute. At last, they touched the seafloor, over 10,900 meters down, the first humans to ever reach the deepest place on Earth. They saw the plain of soft sediment stirred by their landing, and even glimpsed small creatures moving in the gloom. Their voices, calm and steady, carried wonder and awe, for they had touched a world no one thought possible to see. Since then, only a handful of missions have returned. Robotic submersibles, armored against the crushing weight, have filmed snailfish swimming gracefully in the deep, amphipods scurrying across the mud, and microbes thriving in the darkness. More recently, explorers like James Cameron made solo descents, carrying the dream of discovery into these silent depths. But still, the trenches remain largely unknown. Each dive reveals only fragments of their truth. To this day, less than 1% of the trench floors have been explored. They remain a hidden frontier, untouched, waiting, holding secrets that may never fully be revealed. Pause for a moment and imagine the silence of the Challenger Deep. At 11 kilometers down, there is no light, no warmth, no sound. Above you stretches the weight of the entire ocean. Around you lies stillness so complete it feels eternal. And yet, within that silence is a kind of peace. The pressure, the darkness, the emptiness all merge into something almost sacred. The trenches remind us of our smallness, that even with all our technology, our maps, and our science, there are still places on our own planet we barely know. Places as alien as other worlds, yet here beneath the waves. They humble us, reminding us that the Earth is larger, deeper, and stranger than we can ever fully understand. And so, as we hover here in the dark, feel the awe of this place. It is not frightening, but profound. The trenches are the Earth's hidden scars, carved by time, shaped by pressure, holding both mystery and life. They are a reminder that wonder lies not only among the stars, but deep within our own world. Soon we will rise again, leaving these silent canyons behind. But for now, let yourself rest in their depth. Let the silence soothe you, the stillness cradle you, the mystery calm you. Here at the edge of possibility, the Earth whispers softly, there is always more to discover.
We drift now from the silence of the trenches into a realm of fire hidden beneath water. For in the deep, where darkness and pressure reign, the Earth sometimes speaks with heat, with minerals, with volcanic force. This is the world of hydrothermal vents and underwater volcanoes, places where the ocean floor opens, releasing the energy of the Earth's inner heart. Imagine the sea floor here. Cracks and fissures run across the dark rock,
And from these openings pour jets of superheated water laced with minerals. These plumes rise into the ocean like smoke from a chimney, though they are not smoke at all, but clouds of iron, sulfur, and other elements carried upward by boiling water. Scientists call them black smokers because the water looks like dark smoke rising into the deep sea. The temperatures around these vents are extreme, hundreds of degrees Celsius, yet only a few steps away the water is near freezing. It is a world of sharp contrasts, where fire and ice touch, where life has found a way to balance between destruction and creation. And what is most astonishing is that here, in this place where sunlight has never reached, life not only survives, it thrives. On the surface world, nearly all life depends on the sun. Plants capture light, animals eat plants, and the chain of energy continues. But in the deep volcanic zones, there is no sun. Instead, life has learned to draw energy from the earth itself through a process called chemosynthesis. Tiny bacteria take the chemicals pouring from the vents, hydrogen sulfide, iron, methane, and turn them into food. From these invisible builders, entire ecosystems bloom in the dark. Imagine enormous tube worms standing meters tall, their white bodies sheathed in protective casings, their plumes bright red from hemoglobin that captures oxygen. They sway gently in the current, like strange, silent forests of the deep. Inside their bodies, symbiotic bacteria live, creating nourishment from vent chemicals. The worms themselves have no mouths, no stomachs. Their survival depends entirely on the tiny microbes within. Nearby, blind shrimp crawl across the vent walls, guided not by sight, but by heat and chemical trails. Some cluster in great numbers, their pale bodies glowing faintly in the shimmering light of the vent. Stranger still are the vent crabs, their shells ghostly white, their claws delicately picking through the mineral-rich deposits. They seem fragile, almost translucent, yet they endure in one of the harshest places on Earth. And everywhere, hidden in the billowing dark, are microbes, the unseen foundation of this ecosystem, quietly weaving energy from the Earth's breath. Pause for a moment and feel the awe of this place. Life without sunlight, life born from fire, thriving in darkness. These ecosystems remind us that life does not belong to the surface alone. It adapts, reshapes, discovers new ways to endure. The ocean is not a passive emptiness. It is a canvas upon which life writes endless variations of possibility. Beyond the vents, underwater volcanoes rise. When they erupt, lava pours into the sea, glowing red against the cold black. The water hisses and steams, minerals crystallize instantly, and new land is born. Entire islands can rise from these hidden eruptions, built from the slow but relentless breath of the earth. And yet, even in the midst of such violence, life finds a foothold. Bacteria coat the fresh lava, shrimp and crabs arrive, and slowly new ecosystems emerge from fire. There is a quiet poetry here. On the surface, fire often destroys. Forests burn, mountains erupt, homes vanish in flame. But in the deep ocean, fire creates. It gives birth to entire worlds, to forests of worms and gardens of shrimp, to crabs and fish and microbes that may hold secrets to life itself. Scientists believe that perhaps life on Earth began in such places,
In the earliest days of our planet, when the surface was still cooling, hydrothermal vents may have provided the energy and chemistry needed for the first living cells to appear. If this is true, then every life form on Earth, every tree, every bird, every human being carries within it the memory of fire in the deep. And perhaps, beyond our world, other oceans exist, hidden beneath the ice of distant moons like Europa and Enceladus. If life can thrive here, in the volcanic depths of Earth's oceans, then maybe it can thrive there too, far away, where sunlight never shines. As you drift now in this volcanic kingdom, imagine the scene around you. Black plumes rising like smokestacks, shimmering chimneys of mineral crusts, forests of tube worms swaying in silence, blind shrimp crawling in clusters, pale crabs picking delicately at the seafloor. The water glows faintly in shifting light, heat and cold mingling in a surreal, dreamlike balance. And through it all, the ocean hums with quiet power. You are suspended in a place where fire and water meet, where destruction becomes creation, where silence holds the memory of Earth's first breath. Take a slow breath yourself. Feel the warmth of life in a cold, dark world. Let it remind you that resilience lies not in sunlight alone, but in the hidden strength of the earth itself. Life born from fire, life thriving in darkness, life eternal even in the deepest, most unlikely places. And so, with calm wonder, we drift onward, deeper into the journey, carrying with us the knowledge that even in the most extreme corners of our world, life whispers softly, "I am here."
As we drift onward through the ocean's hidden realms, another world quietly reveals itself. A world not born of coral or volcanic fire, not shaped by evolution alone, but by the history of humankind. The deep sea is not only home to strange creatures and endless plains, it is also the graveyard of memory, where ships, cities, and stories sleep in silence. Imagine, for a moment, the ocean as a library. Every wave that has ever carried a vessel has also carried risk, and many of those vessels never returned. Their stories remain scattered across the sea floor, sunken ships lying like books left open, their pages of wood and steel slowly reclaimed by water. Perhaps the most famous of these is the Titanic. In 1912, it slipped beneath the waves of the North Atlantic, carrying with it more than 1,500 lives, dreams, and belongings that would never surface again. Today, its remains rest more than 3 kilometers deep, shrouded in cold darkness. The once grand ship, with its chandeliers and staircases, now lies as a broken skeleton, covered in rusticles, delicate formations created by iron-eating bacteria. Yet even in ruin, the Titanic feels timeless, a silent witness to human ambition, tragedy, and memory. But the Titanic is only one of countless vessels resting on the sea floor. From Roman galleons heavy with amphorae, to Viking ships carved with dragon heads, to warships lost in battles that changed the course of nations, all lie beneath the waves, waiting in quiet dignity. Some wrecks still carry treasures: gold coins, statues, cargoes of porcelain. Others carry only whispers, letters never delivered, tools once held in human hands,
shoes resting where their owners last stood. Every wreck is both an end and a beginning. For while ships decay, life gathers. Corals grow upon their beams, fish weave through their hallways, crabs scuttle across their decks. What humans lost, the ocean slowly transforms into habitat. Yet alongside real history, the ocean also carries myths. Legends of sunken kingdoms have long captured our imagination. The most enduring of these is Atlantis, a city said to have flourished with wisdom and power before sinking beneath the waves in a single day and night of misfortune. Whether Atlantis was history or parable, truth or tale, it continues to haunt our dreams, a reminder that the sea can both give and take, conceal and protect. Other cultures, too, tell of drowned lands. The Celtic tales of Lyonesse, a kingdom swallowed by the sea off Cornwall. The stories of Yonaguni in Japan, where mysterious underwater stone structures lie, sparking debates of natural formation or ancient civilization. The myths of lost temples in India's coastal waters, where divers today have found ruins carved with remarkable precision. Each tale blurs the line between history and dream, between memory and imagination. The sea, after all, is both truth and mystery, and in its depths, the two often become one. As you drift deeper into these thoughts, imagine floating through a wreck yourself, a corridor once filled with voices, now silent. A dining hall where music once played, now empty except for drifting fish. Light from your lamp falls upon broken glass, faded letters, and shadows that feel almost like memory. And yet there is no fear here, only stillness, only quiet. The ocean does not mock or mourn these ghosts. It holds them gently, as if in a cradle, protecting what remains from the passing of time. The ocean has always been a keeper of timelessness. Wood rots slowly here. Metal corrodes but endures. Even the footprints of ancient sailors carved into amphorae or tools can remain for thousands of years. In this way, the deep sea is less a graveyard and more a vault, preserving the fragments of human history long after land has forgotten them. And just as it holds our past, it holds our imagination. For every wreck discovered, there are countless more unseen. Entire fleets may rest in silence, their locations still unknown. Whole coastal cities from ages of lower seas may lie buried, waiting for us to uncover their stories. Perhaps myths like Atlantis are not fantasy at all, but distant echoes of real places the ocean has taken into its embrace. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself drifting through this library of ghosts. The shelves are not of wood, but coral-covered steel. The books are not paper, but broken masts and scattered pottery. Every object tells a story. Every silence holds a memory. And in this drifting, you feel not sorrow, but humility. For the ocean reminds us that nothing is truly lost. Even tragedy, even ruin becomes part of the greater whole. Ships become reefs. Memories become myths. Life continues reshaping what we leave behind. The ghosts of the past are not frightening here. They are gentle. They are quiet reminders that time flows like water, always moving, always carrying us forward, always leaving traces in its wake. And so, as we pass through these silent wrecks and timeless myths,
Let us carry the feeling of awe, not fear, for the ocean does not forget, and in its remembering, we too are reminded of our place in the long story of Earth. Soon we will drift again to follow the giants of the sea, the whales who travel through depths and dreams alike, but for now, rest with these ghosts, these gentle keepers of history. Let their silence calm you. Let their timelessness soothe you. For here, in the ocean's embrace, even the past becomes a place of peace.
For as long as people have sailed the seas, they have spoken of giants, shapes glimpsed in stormy waters, shadows moving beneath fragile wooden boats, the creak of waves that seem to hide something more. Out of fear, awe, and imagination, whole legends were born. Sailors once whispered of the Kraken, a creature so vast it could pull ships beneath the waves with its great tentacles. In Nordic tales, the Kraken lurked off lonely coasts, a shadow mistaken for an island until it stirred and dragged everything into the abyss. The sea was endless and dangerous, and so it was natural for sailors to dream of something even larger than themselves ruling its depths. Further south in the ancient Mediterranean there were stories of the Leviathan, described in sacred texts as a mighty sea serpent armored in scales, fire in its breath, untamable and eternal. For the people of that time the sea was chaos itself, and Leviathan was its living form, a reminder that nature is beyond control. And in ports around the world, tales of sea serpents echoed. Long, twisting bodies said to rise from the waves, eyes glowing, spines breaking the surface like a row of black mountains. Some believed they were dragons of the deep, others omens of disaster. These myths carried both warning and wonder, shaped by the mystery of waters no one could truly see beneath. Yet as centuries passed and science began to peer into the deep with nets, ships, and submarines, we discovered that the truth was no less extraordinary. The giants of the sea were real, and though they did not breathe fire or drag ships to the bottom, they were magnificent beyond imagination. Take the colossal squid, for instance. Longer than a city bus, with eyes the size of dinner plates, it drifts in the pitch-black waters of the Southern Ocean. For centuries, only fragments were found in fishermen's nets, tentacles, beaks, scars left on whales. To glimpse such a creature alive is rare, yet the thought of it quietly swimming in the abyss makes the legend of the Kraken feel less like fantasy and more like a reflection of truth. Then there is the greatest animal ever to live on Earth, greater even than the largest dinosaur, the blue whale. Stretching up to 30 meters long, with a heart the size of a small car, it glides with a gentleness that belies its enormity. Its song travels for thousands of kilometers, echoing through water like a deep, distant bell. Unlike the fearsome Leviathan, the blue whale is no monster. It is a calm traveler, feeding on clouds of tiny krill, reminding us that even the largest beings may live on the smallest of things. There are others, too. The giant manta ray, wings spanning like a black and white bird of the sea, gliding as if the water itself is a sky. The sperm whale, diving deeper than almost any other mammal, hunting squid in battles unseen by human eyes. The oarfish, long and ribbon-like, silver scales flashing, a creature so strange that when it surfaced in storms, sailors believed they had found a sea serpent at last. Slowly, we begin to see how myth and reality are not enemies but companions. The Kraken and the colossal squid, the Leviathan and the blue whale, the sea serpent and the oarfish.
Each myth was born from glimpses, from fear of the unknown, from imagination filling in the gaps. And each real creature, once revealed, is no less wondrous than the legends. Imagine drifting alongside one of these gentle giants. You float in still water as a blue whale passes near, its presence so vast it feels like a moving continent. Yet it does not disturb you. Its eye, small compared to its body, but full of quiet awareness, regards you for a moment. Then it continues, slow and steady, leaving only a trail of bubbles. Or picture the silhouette of a colossal squid far below, its arms curling and uncurling like living ribbons in the dark. It does not rise, it does not threaten. It simply exists, a guardian of mysteries in a place we may never fully know. In this way, the giants of the sea remind us of something profound, that size does not always mean danger, that power can live hand in hand with gentleness, and that what we once feared as monsters are, in truth, travelers like us, moving through their vast, quiet world. As you rest now, let these whispers of giants drift through your imagination. The kraken, the leviathan, the serpents of old, let them fade into mist. And in their place let the true giants appear. Whales, squid, rays, and fish, each more marvelous than any tale. For the ocean does not need monsters to inspire awe. Its reality is enough. And its giants, though immense, are not here to frighten us. They are here to remind us that wonder is stronger than fear, and that the unknown can be beautiful. So close your eyes and let the image settle. An endless sea, stars above, and somewhere beneath the gentle travelers of the abyss. They move unseen, but not unfelt. Their songs, their silence, their presence, they belong to the rhythm of the living earth. And in that rhythm, in that vast quiet, you too can rest. The ocean giants, in truth, are gentle travelers of the abyss.
Even after centuries of exploration, maps, and machines, more than 80% of the ocean remains untouched, unseen, and unmeasured. Vast stretches of water and seafloor lie in complete shadow, as unfamiliar to us as the far side of distant planets. We have sent probes to Mars, landed on the Moon, and captured images of galaxies light years away. Yet the deep ocean of our own Earth remains a mystery. Imagine that. The very world we walk upon hides more secrets beneath its waves than above its skies. The ocean, in this way, is our final frontier, a frontier not in space, but here, silently waiting just beyond the shore. Beneath its surface, strange phenomena echo, sounds that no one has yet fully explained. One of the most famous is known simply as the bloop. In 1997, microphones deep in the Pacific picked up a sound louder than the call of any whale, reverberating across thousands of kilometers. For years, some believed it was the voice of a creature larger than anything we could imagine, a giant hidden in the abyss. Scientists later suggested it may have been ice breaking apart in Antarctica, but the mystery remains. For in the dark of the deep, even ice and stone seem alive. There are other sounds, too. The upsweep, a long rising tone heard season after season, always strongest in spring and autumn, echoing like a hidden orchestra playing just out of sight. The whistle, the Julia, and countless other strange signals caught by hydrophones. Each one leaves behind questions, hints of events unfolding far below where human eyes cannot see. In these echoes, the ocean speaks, but not in a language we yet understand. And then there are the creatures still unseen,
Every year, expeditions return with new discoveries: glowing jellyfish, transparent fish with heads like glass domes, tiny shrimp living in volcanic heat, and delicate corals shaped like lace. These are but glimpses. For every one species discovered, countless more remain hidden. Scientists estimate that millions of life forms, perhaps the majority of Earth's living beings, exist only in the ocean's depths, yet we may never meet them. It is humbling to remember that in the deep, life adapts in ways beyond imagination. Some creatures glow with living light. Others drift for centuries, moving only when currents carry them. There may be giants we have never seen, or microscopic beings with powers we cannot yet fathom. The ocean is not only a realm of mystery, but also a wellspring of possibility. Picture yourself floating there, at the edge of knowledge. Around you only blackness and silence, yet you know, somewhere out there in the dark, entire worlds exist, glowing, shifting, breathing in rhythms hidden from the surface. You do not see them, but you feel their presence, as if the abyss itself is alive. The unknown does not need to frighten us. Instead, it can comfort us. For mystery is proof that there is still wonder left in the world, that not everything has been measured, captured, or named. The ocean holds dreams for the future and secrets for the curious. And so, as we drift here, let us think of the ocean as a vast library yet unread. Its volumes lie unopened, its pages waiting. Somewhere down there, stories are being written in light and silence, in movement and stillness. Some we may learn, others may remain forever hidden, but the beauty lies in knowing they exist. Close your eyes now and listen to that thought, that the earth itself keeps secrets, that beneath us stretches a frontier as endless as space, that even in our own home there are places untouched, unexplored, unknown. And perhaps that is how it should be. The deep ocean does not need to reveal all of itself. It only needs to remind us that wonder is still alive, that discovery is still possible, and that dreams, like the sea, have no end.
We have traveled together from the gentle shimmer of the surface waters to the deepest, most silent trenches of the earth. We began where sunlight dances across waves, where corals bloom like underwater gardens, and schools of fish shimmer like moving jewels. We drifted downward into the twilight zone, where the last rays of the sun fade and creatures glow softly like living constellations in a night sky of water. Deeper still, we entered the midnight zone, where darkness reigns eternal, and yet life continues, strange, wondrous life, glowing, hunting, drifting in silence. We touched the vast plains of the abyss, endless stretches of seafloor like deserts unseen, where time itself seems to pause. And we gazed into the trenches, the hidden scars of the earth, where silence is heavier than stone, and where only a handful of explorers have ever ventured. We saw fire beneath the waves, volcanoes and hydrothermal vents where life thrives without sunlight, drawing its strength not from the sky, but from the hidden heat of the planet. We wandered among ghosts of the past, the Titanic resting quietly, myths of Atlantis drifting like echoes in the current. We listened to whispers of giants, from Kraken and Leviathan to the real travelers of the deep, whales, squid, manta rays, and oarfish. And at last, we drifted into the unknown, where the ocean still keeps its secrets, reminding us that wonder is not gone, only waiting. Now, as our journey comes to rest,
we return to the truth that the ocean is not only water, not only depth and distance. It is a mirror of the Earth's heartbeat, a mirror of our own minds. Vast, quiet, full of mystery. There are currents within us, just as there are currents in the sea, slow, steady, eternal. Perhaps this is why the ocean comforts us, because in its endless rhythm we hear something familiar, something older than words, the sound of calm, the reminder that even in the darkest places life continues, light endures, and silence itself can be full of meaning. So, as you close your eyes tonight, let the ocean drift into your dreams. Picture its surface, calm and endless beneath a sky of stars. Picture its depths, quiet and vast, where creatures glow softly in their own secret galaxies. Picture the trenches, sleeping and untouched, like the Earth's own hidden dreams. And know that just as the ocean rests, so too can you. Just as the ocean breathes in waves, so too can your breath rise and fall. Just as the ocean holds mysteries, so too does your mind, mysteries that may take shape in dreams. Let go now and drift with the tide of sleep. The journey does not end, it simply continues, in silence, in stillness, in dreams. For the ocean is forever dreaming, and tonight you dream with it. Stay curious. Stay dreaming. This was Stellar Sleep Tales.